Hey everyone, SuperShadix Boom Here, and I'm taking a look at Espio and Eggrobo from Wave 9 of Jakks Pacific's foreign Sonic the Hedgehog line. Starting with Espio, the painting sculpting on this figure is pretty good. He's mostly casted in this hot pinkish color. The actual paint was applied well, but a lot of areas weren't fully executed, like his horn, stomach heart, and these little triangles above his wrists. His shoes and back spikes turned out great. The tail is rad, and his gauntlets, besides the triangles, are fantastic. Gotta be the coolest part about this figure. Only real issue I have is with this gargantuan molding mark glue spot. I don't know what this is exactly, but it looks fucking horrible. And my figure also has warping issues. The left arm is protruding outward and both legs are absolutely abysmal. They're splitting outwards, which is really annoying since it makes his feet unable to stay flat. Plus his knees are bent forward by default, with them also being loose on top of all that. Come on Jakks, I thought we were past this. The only kind of solution I could think of was to turn the legs around, but then they look weird. Espio's articulation is our usual affair: swivel at the neck, peg and hinge in the shoulders, solid range, no elbows. The gauntlets are just attached to his arm, super lame. I really wish they just put a swivel right here. They could have hidden it so easily. Ball jointed wrist plugging into the gauntlet, sort of how Eggman's hands work. Static torso, tail is on a ball joint, peg and hinge hips, peg and hinge knees, and ball joints in the ankles. Sorry if I seemed a little bored there, it's because I was. There's just nothing too engaging with our standard Jakks Sonic articulation system at this point. It's 100% just a me problem though. Like, why fix what ain't broke, right? It's a good setup and all, but nothing I'd go and do cartwheels over. Speaking of basic repetitive things, Espio comes with a damn checkpoint. Sonic Heroes representation, I guess, but Espio's a ninja, bro, and the Chowticks have so much cool stuff they could have came with. A kunai or walkie-talkie would have been sick. The checkpoint has a springy hinge, and I guess Espio can beat people to death with it. Why do we have so many figures coming with this thing? What's so cool about a dumb little checkpoint? The thing you see for like a millisecond in each stage. Behold, the sheer testosterone and swagger this figure emanates just from standing in a vanilla pose. And the painting and sculpting on this figure is fantastic. Mostly the sculpt. From afar the paint is pretty good, but then you get up close to it and you can just tell how messed up it is. Lots of paint smudges and scratches. Thankfully the torso is pretty clean and the bottom of his feet are insane, especially if that's all paint. I can't really tell. It's fuzzy in some spots and scratched up like paint, but it's more likely that it's a decal or something. The sculpt is great. It's a more simplistic take on the character, which I'm fine with, and I love that they use different colored plastics on here. It may come off as more cheap looking, but I prefer it to the sloppy paint apps, plus no chipping is cool. The figure is also hollow, which is a massive W since it means he balances really well. And since this is a robot designed by Jakks Pacific, he has god tier articulation. The head swivels, big ass ball hinges with phenomenal range in all directions, all the way up, down, forwards and backwards, and that joint plugs into the torso via peg, so swivel there. Elbows bend 90 degrees in both directions. Swivel and ball joints at the wrist. We finally have a torso joint.
Like that's ever gonna happen.
Hips are on the same ball hinges, so great range there. Hinge in the knees, just a heads up, but the articulation point is at the bottom half as opposed to the top half like the elbow. I almost snapped his leg off since it took me a minute to figure that out. Interesting enough, the ankles are also on a pegged hinge setup, so they swivel and hinge up and down. Can't have an Eggrobo without its blaster, making this the second Jakks figure with a gun. It's mostly just a big gray hunk of plastic, but we do have some very cleanly applied black paint, but there's also some white paint in the barrel and this cool cyan line on top. I really love this cool rubbery wire piece. It's epic. The trigger guard is also rubbery, and it fits in his right trigger finger hand perfectly. The gun is pretty freaking huge, so it's very heavy. Luckily we have this little shoulder piece that doesn't even attach to his shoulder, unless you use excessive force. I like to just have the elbows bent 90 degrees and let this corner hug against the body, helping the Eggrobo prop up its blaster. So that's pretty much everything about the two new figures in Wave 9 of Jakks Pacific's foreign Sonic Sonic the Hedgehog line. Espio's a solid release, who doesn't like a cool ninja dude, and the Chaotix are such a lit team, glad we have them completed in this line. It just sucks ass that all he comes with is a checkpoint, literally the lamest accessory. It sucks balls that they did my 4-inch lizard dirty like this. Espio is one of my favorite characters. A kunai would have went so hard. Also, what is he so happy about? Getting a shit accessory? All the love in this wave definitely went to Eggrobo. This figure probably ate up the whole budget too. With fantastic sculpt work, articulation, and feet details, just an all-around incredible toy. One of Jakks' best figures by far. Just go buy 20 of them. You can't have too much of this greatness. I'm not sure if I like it more than Mecha Silver Sonic. That design just goes way harder. Definitely in my top 2. Easy. Actually, I just noticed this figure doesn't have any pupils. Straight up fecal matter. Worst figure of all time. Jakks needs to go bankrupt already. Jeez Louise. For real though, the pupils are more appealing and accurate, and if that detail bums you out, you have every right to be upset. It's a lot more crucial than like shoulder panels or something. It's their freaking eyes, for crying out loud. Big mistake on Jakks' part, but it does have kind of a cool after effect. The Eggrobo looks way more menacing and ferocious, but I highly doubt that was intentional. The pupils are something that any capable person should be able to do on their own, which is 100% not me, so I'm not going to try that shit. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and what are your thoughts on these two figures? I'd love to know. Bye. Thanks for watching.